What's going on, guys? Eric Allen, owner of Top Rated MMA. For this show, I have the pleasure of speaking with Joey Bozik, who's the treasurer and co-founder of We Defy Foundation. It's an amazing organization. You got to check out the show to get all the details, but it was such a great show. Thank you for checking it out. Thank you so much for joining my show this morning, man. I appreciate taking time out of your day.
Yeah, appreciate you having me, man. It's a great opportunity to talk about the foundation, spread the word. We're always looking for chances to do that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your service as well. I really appreciate what you did there.
Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. I've tried to get on your beard game, though. That's crazy, man. Mine's just coming in. I was telling the kids earlier, I was like, I want to get it down to here. And then they were like, I want to braid it. I want to braid it. I'm like, okay.
That's awesome. I used to just grow it out like once a year, and then I shaved it off one time, and my kid and my wife went, "Oh, I missed the beard. Grow it back out." And so I said, "All right, we're just going to keep it then."
Yeah, I did the exact same thing a few months ago. I was like, I haven't seen my face in a couple of years. I'm going to shave it off. And as soon as I did, everyone was like, oh, my God, you look 20 years younger.
Right, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Well, you are the president and co-founder of We Defy Foundation, which is an amazing organization. And I came across you guys while doing some research on a gym, someone that was on my guest, or that was on my show. I believe it was SBG Montana. And then for those who have never heard of your foundation, though, can you kind of give us a story, I guess, of how it got started and how you got involved with it?
Absolutely. Clarify one little piece real quick. I was the president. But I recently just stepped down and took a lower position on the board. And we brought on a new gentleman who's been with us. He's been supporting us from the beginning. He runs a gym down in Sugar Land, Texas, down in Houston area, and a great guy. Did 22 years in the military, retired, black belt, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt, Brian Marvin. And so we put it to the board to a vote. We brought him in, and he's now the president. I stepped down now, and I'm the treasurer. So I'm still very actively involved and on the board and participating. But we felt like it was, this when we started the foundation, we never really, Alan and myself, we never really wanted to make it about us. We always wanted to make it about the other veterans, and we're trying to bring in new people, get them involved, put them in major roles, contributing, decision making, and moving the foundation forward. And he's one of those guys that's really stepped up, and so we thought he was a perfect fit. The foundation came out of. It's funny because we kind of fell into it. I moved to Texas a few years ago and had gained a bunch of weight since leaving the hospital. And I know something a lot of retired military veterans can understand is when you leave that lifestyle and you leave that activity level and you get back into regular society, there's a lot of things that come along with it. And one of those things is usually weight gain. And so you start to put on the pounds because you're still eating the same volume you were before, but you're not working out as much. You're not putting on the rucksack and doing a 20K or whatever the case may be.
Sure.
And so, that leads to depression. It's cyclical. Everything kind of builds and adds into it. You start not working out, you're not feeling well, all these other kind of things. So I had put on some weight since I left the hospital, and I was going around looking for a jiu-jitsu gym for my daughter. I wanted her to start learning how to protect herself and be comfortable fighting from the ground. And I saw, I had an experience in martial arts and experience in the military. I knew that fighting from the ground was going to be the best place to start for her to feel comfortable with having that kind of stuff and confidence and be able to protect herself. And that's where I met Alan Shamaro. Alan and I just hit it off right away from the very beginning. He spent time at Fort Bragg. He was in Special Forces. I was with the 82nd. And we chewed the same dirt at the same time, man. We were at Bragg at the same time. We were deployed to Iraq at the same time. We'd never met because if you know Bragg, Fort Bragg, it's ginormous. There's thousands and tens of thousands of people on there. But
sure.
We had a lot in common, a lot to talk about. And then after a few months, he asked me if I wanted to, if I'd ever thought about training jiu-jitsu. And I said, no, man, I don't know. It's just, I never really thought about it. He said, why don't you come in, just you and me. We'll just get on the mats. We'll see if you can move around, what you can do. We'll go from there. And I said, okay. So I came in, started working out with him. We started doing some jiu-jitsu, and it just kind of grew from there. We started building, it came in as, hey, come in on Tuesday. Okay. And we work out for an hour and a half. And then it was like, okay, come in on Thursday. Okay, I'll see you Thursday. And then after Thursday, I'll see you next Tuesday. And I'll see you next Thursday. And it just kept growing like that until finally he's like, you know what? Actually, I think I brought it up to him. I said, I want to see if what we're doing is going to work. Can I join your group classes? And he said, absolutely. We'd love to have. So I started coming to group classes, and I started training with all the other regular individuals within the community that were training jiu-jitsu, your firefighters, your teachers, whoever was there.
Yeah.
And I immediately felt this acceptance and this bond because with jiu-jitsu, there's this level of trust that goes into what you're doing. You're training with these individuals, but and even though it's in the controlled circumstances, in a controlled environment, you're still, to a certain extent, putting your life and your trust in these people's hands, saying, yeah, I'm going to let you choke me. I'm going to let you put my arm in a very precarious position in the hopes that whenever I say stop or tap, that you're going to do that. And so you build this trust, right? And then you're going through the sweat and the agony and the blood together. So in a lot of ways, it was similar to that military experience of bonding and building that I was having with my brothers and sisters in the military. And I immediately fell into a family. Most people you talk to that train jiu-jitsu will tell you their gyms are a family environment. They feel closely connected to those people. And so that component of my life started to get filled. So I was being physically active. I was building my self-confidence. I was competing with regular people, again, not being shuffled off and stuck in a corner with other disabled veterans. I was learning a new skill, and I was being integrated back into the community. So after a few months of doing this, Alan and I started talking, and we're like, you know what, this is a real viable. And Alan himself being a combat veteran, and then now being a black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, owning a school and teaching a combat disabled veteran, he was getting something out of it. And we just saw this match where it was like, why can't we make this happen for other veterans? What can we do? You know, we have this platform, we have this beta test that's worked out, it's been fantastic. What do we do? How do we get this out there so we can help other veterans? Because we saw how much it helped the two of us, and then that's how We Defy Foundation was born.
Gotcha. Wow, that's awesome. And I read that you had your first competitive jiu-jitsu win last year, right?
I did.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you, man. It was pretty incredible. The win was incredible by itself, but then having the circumstances that it happened under were really incredible as well. I had competed half a dozen times before then. I only been tapped out once or twice. Most of the times I'd gone the distance and lost on points. And so that was my first victory. You win in the gym, you lose in the gym, that's different. When you go out on a platform where you're telling this other person, hey, I want you to try to, attack me, and I'm going to try to attack you, and we're going to see who comes out of this thing victorious.
Yeah.
And I trained up for it, got ready. It was the Austin Open last year. It was 3 guys in my division, and my first fight, I got in there, and it went the entire 5 minutes. In the last 2 to 3 seconds, I had gained position. I was on top of him, and then I was able to lock his arm up in a position that put his wrist where it could be broken, and he tapped right before the buzzer went off, and so I got the victory literally right at the last second.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
That's great. There's a We Defy Foundation seminar coming up on August 18th. That's at the Ares Brazilian Jiu Jitsu in Livermore, California. I saw on your website. With 100% of the proceeds going back to you guys. That's pretty rad. How'd you guys get hooked up with that gym out there?
Basically, so the way our foundation works, let me go into detail about that a little bit.
Yeah.
The way our foundation works and what our goals and what we do is we are twofold. We look at schools across the United States, and we look at veterans across the United States. Both of them individuals have to apply. So we don't just choose any gym, and we don't just choose any veteran. And the stipulations aren't for any other reason than we want to make sure that we have the right veterans in the program that are going to benefit, and the ones that, and I hate to say this in the term of that deserve it, but deserve what we're trying to do with the combat disabledness aspect of it. Everyone that served, I get that. They don't necessarily need the kind of help that we're trying to provide that's going to give them that mental and physical component, because the combat strips so much away from an individual, and then you throw the disability on top of that. We're trying to look at a way to give them that mental aspect of their life and the physical aspect of their life back. And there's lots of other organizations out there that do lots of other great things, and we do jiu-jitsu. That's what we do, so we stay focused with that. And then, of course, the gyms across the country, we want to make sure that we're not just signing up any gym that's in a little strip mall anywhere across the United States. We're not trying to grow and be this national-wide organization where we have no control. We want to make sure that each school and each instructor understands what they're getting themselves into, the time and the commitment that they may have to give to that veteran, and that the environment that veteran is going to be training in is a fit for them. So as the schools hear about us through veterans that train and travel, we have scholarship athletes and sponsor athletes. Sponsor athletes are people that basically wear our brand on their gi or in a rash guard form. They go out and compete. They train across the United States, and it gives us more visibility, and they have enough knowledge to say, hey, this is a great program. You should check them out. Here's their website. So the schools come to us, and they apply. And it's a very simple application. It's just, where's your school located? How long have you been around? And your BJJ lineage. And so we want to make sure that not only does that instructor have a facility that can be able to take care of a veteran, like myself being in a wheelchair, like is it wheelchair accessible? We're not training in someone's garage, it's like they used to do back in the old days in California. These are now legitimate training facilities. We want to make sure we can get our veterans in there to be able to train. And then the BJJ lineage portion of it is, we want to make sure that those instructors, if they hit a wall or they get to a point with the veteran and their disability that they're not sure what direction to go, that they have someone that they can reach out to and find out, hey, I'm struggling. I need to figure out how to do this technique with this veteran, or how can you help me out? So we check all that stuff out. We do a background check on the institution and the instructor to make sure, see if they've got good reviews and all that. And we talk to people in the community that have trained there and get their feedback. And after that, the gym's approved. Then they sign a contract with us, and basically our job is that they bring the veterans in, or we pair the veterans with them, and then as the veterans train, we pay their tuition directly to the instructor. So the veterans don't have to do anything but show up and train, and the instructors do their job by training them. Then the veterans apply, same process. They fill out an application, tell us why they want to be doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. We talk to them, and we make sure everything's verified with them, and then we find a school location that's close to them. And if we don't have one, then we start actively going out searching, trying to find a place to be able to get them to train. And then that's it, man. Once they're approved, they get 1 year of jiu-jitsu. We provide them with training with gis, no gi uniform, whatever they need to train. And for 1 year, we cover their tuition so they can get in and start training jiu-jitsu.
Wow, man, that is awesome. So such a cool organization that you guys have going on there.
Yeah. So then the seminar, I'm sorry, real quick. So then the seminar that you mentioned with Aries. So part of what we do is, we have to raise funds to pay for the tuition for these veterans. And a lot of the schools, when they get involved with us, we say, hey, look, we're going to be paying you tuition. What we do, we want you to be an active part of what we're doing. Not only are we going to pay you to train these guys, which is going to be part of your regular class, but we also, as a person within the community, we want you to reach out to the community and show what you're doing. And show that these veterans are back and we're doing what we can to take care of them, that you're involved as a part of that. And hold a seminar, raise a little bit of money, give it back to us, and then we make sure that those veterans continue to come to you and train. So it becomes this cycle. The more involved they are, the more veterans I can send to them, the more we can train, and vice versa.
Perfect. Oh, that's awesome. Well, hey, do you care if we do some rapid-fire questions on you real quick?
Go ahead, man.
All right, so favorite type of music or favorite band?
My favorite band of all time is Queen. I like the old school rock. 80s is always good for me too, but if I had to pick one, like if I was stranded on a desert island and I could only have one CD or whatever, it'd be Queen's Greatest Hits.
I cannot wait for the biopic to come out, man. It's going to be such an awesome movie.
I know.
If Daniel Cormier and Brock Lesnar end up happening, who wins that fight?
I don't know, man. To be honest with you, I think Cormier would win it. Yeah. He's too well rounded. He's got every part of it, and his wrestling is just ridiculous. If he can stay away from the punches and he can take a couple hits and get inside, I think he can win.
What's your favorite gun to shoot? I noticed you shoot a lot of guns out on the range there. What's your favorite gun to shoot?
Oh man, my favorite gun, my H&K. I got an H&K P30S 9mm. My stock off the shelf, man. I bought it because it was ambidextrous. I shoot left-handed now, so I need to be able to do the mag change and the slide release and everything with my left hand. Sure. But the grip, the trigger, the sights, everything coming off the gun, man, straight out of the box was just amazing. And I only changed out the front sight post, and that was the only thing I've changed out on that gun. And I've put 5,000, 10,000 rounds to that thing. I could shoot it all day.
Nice. Last one. Do you have a favorite movie that you like to watch?
I like military movies. I like military movies that are realistic. We Were Soldiers. Fury was really good. That came out a couple of years ago. So I like watching military style movies and having that realistic component. I know it's hard for a lot of veterans, but for me personally, it's just being a part of history and seeing that I watched Lone Survivor right before we left to come on this trip again, and that kind of stuff. And I appreciate those movies and the value they bring. So
yeah, awesome. Well, I just wanted to give an opportunity to give a shout out to coaches, partners, anyone from the foundation as well. Make sure that they get a shout out on the video as well.
Absolutely. Like I said, my biggest thing is, we've had an amazing outpouring of support and people that want to get involved. Please, 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 if you know of anyone that would want to help, research our organization. It's We Defy Foundation, all one word, .org, O-R-G. Check us out, see what we do. If you work for a company that's looking to get involved, that likes Veterans Organization, wants to help out, please reach out to me. It's Joey at WeDefyFoundation.org. And let's try to find a way to get as many. I've got a list of veterans right now. I'm trying to get training it's 70, 80 veterans long that we're just trying to secure funding to get them training. So anything that can help, we're greatly appreciated. And we're here for them and for you guys anytime.
Awesome. Well, Joey, it's been an honor and a pleasure to be able to speak with you this morning. I'm so pumped that you took time out of your vacation to speak with me. So, man, I appreciate that so much.
All right, Eric. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching the show today. Really appreciate it. Please subscribe to our channel. Give us a like and follow on social media. Any of the purchases and the profits made through TopRatedMMA.com, we're able to give 25% of the profits to Hire Heroes USA, which helps veterans transition into the workplace. We also donate 5% of all of our profits to Fightbook MMA's fighter sponsorship program. Check them out, Fightbook MMA. Thank you again for all the support. Really appreciate it.
friends.